We're driving a 2024 Kia EV9. It is a mid-size, 3-row, all-electric SUV.
Here's how much it costs.
Coming up, is the EV9 better than its gasoline-powered sibling, the Kia Telluride? But first, interior.
There's a warmth to this interior that I don't expect from an EV, and I think these fabric and lighted fabric elements are responsible.
We're taking the shiny black plastic that we see in so many vehicles and knocking it down a few shades. How do you feel about this shiny gray plastic?
From a showing dust and fingerprints perspective, I think it's slightly better, but to me, it looks a lot cheaper. There is a purse-worthy glove box, which is super unusual. Also, there's a large open storage area underneath the console. Counterpoint to that, though, is the center console, which is extremely shallow and small.
In front, we've got a cup holder zone, but if you don't need the cup holders in place, then you have just a little bit more open space. For door storage, we've got bottle holders, although they do need to be fairly small bottles. The one thing we're missing is a dedicated phone zone.
There is enough space for your phone adjacent to the cup holder. One other playful fun element I like is the plus-minus sign on the drive pedals.
Let's see how the plus works. I'm more of a plus guy, she's more of a minus girl.
It's true. I'm enjoying these premium relaxation front seats.
They're premium relaxation comfort front seats, and they're optional, but they're cool because you can easily get yourself in kind of little ottoman relaxed position for hanging out at the charging station. But in terms of normal comfort, I do have adequate lumbar support, and I'm not feeling much in the way of pressure points.
And these headrests are very cushy.
The EV9 comes in 7 or 6 passenger variants. You go into the second row there, set it for a normal body type, and I'm talking normal body type as in 5'10" adult American human.
What is the length of the torso on that Kia?
Long torso. And I feel like we said it so many times, we're getting close to having to make some merch about having a long torso. Anywho, passenger space, good in the second row and very good in the third row. Headroom in particular. The second row seats that we've got are the power operated kind. When you want to get them out of the way to access the third row, you have to wait for them to motor forward. Oftentimes I prefer a manual seat just to get it out of the way.
I do appreciate that you could keep our booster seat installed while it motored out of the way.
Getting into that third row, the aperture is a bit narrow, but you do have a little grab handle, and you're probably going to put kids back there, and they can access the third row just fine, either with the seat slid out of the way or going right between the second row captain's chairs. Kiddo, any issues climbing aboard the EV9?
Nope, not a single issue.
Is there an issue with a lack of fairy friends?
Yes, we need more magic mixies.
You only have the one.
Yeah, we need 10,000 other magic mixies for it.
Now, I don't think we can fit 10,000 of them in, but one really neat feature in the EV9, second row storage. There's this little bin, and then the top cover is this like extendable table thing.
When you're stuck charging the EV, you can play cards.
And when you've grown weary of the sounds the magic mixie doll thing makes, you can cram it into that storage space. Yeah, I know a magic plaything that's going to go into a box pretty soon. If for some reason the people at the Magic Mixie Corporation decide to deliver 10,000 of their annoying little dolls to us, we can start filling up the cargo area, 20.2 cubic feet of space, which is quite good for the category. There's also an underfloor area, which isn't massive, but you can put a few little items under there, including the tire repair kit. Experience has shown that it's better to have an actual spare than a repair kit. But hey, maybe your tire slash will be repairable.
The third row folds down easily with this strap. If you're short like I am, you'll want to keep that attached so that you don't lose it and have to walk around to retrieve it.
I would just sort of flail in an undignified fashion trying to grab at things. I bet you really like the second row seat lowering function from the cargo area.
It does take a while, but luckily you can just set it and it motors down on its own.
And if you need to access the cargo area with your arms full of stuff, there's a standard smart lift gate. Stand there with the key fob for 3 seconds, it'll automatically power up. What about getting the booster seat installed?
The latch points are not covered, so it was very easy to snap the booster in. There are also latch points in the third row and room for a rear-facing car seat in the second row.
As for safety, neither the NHTSA nor IIHS have rated the EV9 just yet, but it does come with a full suite of active driver assist. There are also 10 airbags. Family, what do we think? Is the Kia EV9 family friendly?
With a base price of over $50,000, it is rich family friendly.
Rear window test. all the way down. Woo! Bunk. Armrest test, driving in a comfortable 8 and 4. It's a bit of a reach both inboard and outboard, but those are smooth surfaces with a reasonable squish factor. 70% inboard, 65% outboard. Hey, would you like to see more videos like this where we review cars as a family? If you would, you are welcome to subscribe. Onward to style.
Taking a great big 3-row EV SUV like this and making it look modern and futuristic seems tricky. They've done a good job with it. I especially like the angular nature of the front and rear fender and the lighting treatment on the front that almost looks as if it's reflecting the headlights.
I would define the shape as blocky futurism. It also could be just like Kia Telluride from the year 2035. My one quibble, I have always had a problem with 4-spoke wheels. They seem like too balanced. I'm a 5-spoke or more kind of dude.
I like them.
4-spoke, yes or no? Tell us in the comments. You mentioned the digital light pattern that appears on the Land and GT-Line trims, which are the 2 highest. Those trims also get a vehicle to load ability, your way of using your vehicle to charge other stuff. E-bikes, popcorn machine, dealer's choice. The GT-Line trim that we're driving here also is distinguished by gloss black trim and unique front and rear fascias. And if you appreciate unique style, I bet you'll like Flying Eyes eyewear with their extreme customizability. Flying Eyes are the lightest, most comfortable eyewear you'll ever experience, especially under a headset or a helmet. Click the link in the description below to learn more. Should we talk about the door handles?
I am so over EV door handles. I'm not great at figuring out how things work intuitively.
Well,
Apparently that's an understatement. But I found myself with this one in particular so often just stuck trying to approach from the passenger side and get in and having to go over to the driver's side. Why can't they just stay out?
I'm sure it contributes to the 0.28 drag coefficient, which is very sleek and it's important for the efficiency of the EV we're driving. Still, sometimes it's just nice to grab a door handle and not have to like wait for anything. Overall, we're feeling pretty good about the style of the Kia EV9 minus the 4-spoke wheels, but how do you guys feel? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comment section. In motion. Ride quality, controlled, comfortable, standard acoustic glass on the windshield and the front windows, and on higher trims you get acoustic glass on the side rear windows as well. Now you can interrupt that serenity by flooring it and getting that instant power that you get from an electric vehicle.
But it's also like a serene power surge because there isn't a whole lot of noise accompanying it.
You can do the active sound situation, active sound design, largest change. Let's see what happens. Does that make it more or less fun?
I think it's more fun.
Okay, we'll just leave that on. The version we're driving, the GT-Line, is the quickest rendition of EV9. It'll do 0 to 60 in about 5 seconds. If you get in the right trim, it's a quick SUV, as noted by that. I find the position of the drive mode selector to be very odd. You just kind of have to take a finger off and poke at it. I'm going to put it in sport mode right now, and that heavies up the steering just a little bit. Gives us a little bit more reactive accelerator. In terms of steering feel, it is predictable. It kind of goes exactly where you want it to go. We put this in the balanced category for steering ratio. 2 paddles right here. Left side increases regen. I'm going to go max regen with the iPedal mode. I'm feet off, and let's see if it comes to a smooth stop. Micah smooth. Wow.
You can't really tell when it stops.
That is the mark of good deceleration. That's what I think about driving the Kia EV9, but what does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. Go ahead and put us in drive and take us away.
I really appreciate the speed at which this leaves a stop. There are a lot of blind corners where we live, and I never felt imperiled.
How's the steering feel?
I didn't really think about the steering while I was driving it, which I think is a good sign.
You're getting the response that you expect, so it just doesn't even come to mind. Did you play around with the paddles at all?
I did not. Do you want me to play with your paddles?
Yes. Squirted the windshield. That's the most Sweetie thing you've possibly done. How is the size of the EV9? Do you have a sense of it?
I have a difficult time telling where the edges of the vehicle are. I found myself using the 360 cam in a lot of situations.
And then what about visibility?
Visibility is good all around, with the exception of over my right shoulder. There's a headrest in the way. Luckily, there is a camera that comes on when I turn on my turn signal.
If we were in the market for an electric 3-row SUV, are there any game killers that would keep you from driving an EV9?
Absolutely not.
Excellent. Well, then I'm getting back in the driver's seat. All right, let's move on to remarks. Infotainment. We've got standard dual 12.3-inch screens. Slotted between them is the climate control. I like how compact it is, but it is hidden conveniently right behind the steering wheel. So you kind of have to be like, what am I doing here?
Fortunately, there are also physical buttons to adjust the things you'd be most likely to adjust.
There's a button down there for my crotch? Amazing.
Sorry. Are you actually going to say that?
Let's see if that makes it in the edit.
The infotainment is operated through this touchscreen. There are also these integrated capacitive touch
buttons?
Buttons?
Just do the air quotes, buttons? I was trying to use the screen and I'm anchoring my thumb. I didn't notice they were there. Every once in a while I'd be like, why the hell is it popping me out of the menu I need to be in? And it's like, oh no, I'm tapping these buttons.
As for the infotainment system itself, I find the menus logically laid out.
I should also mention that Android Auto and Apple CarPlay smartphone connectivity comes standard. And yes, they are wireless. Hooray! Also standard wireless phone charging and USB ports in all 3 rows. There are like 7 of them. Also present is a 360-degree camera system. It's like doing the little spinning around thing. 4-spoke wheels. And now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you access the underhood area. First, you rip off this little panel and then you double pull. Obviously there's no oil to add or check under there in an electric vehicle, but you do have the windshield washer reservoir that you can load up, and that's 1.8 cubic feet of frunk space. And that was the Brian test. All right, let's talk engine choices. Engine choices. The base light trim can cover 230 miles of range. Then there's the light long range, which is also rear wheel drive, that covers a healthy 304 miles. The wind and land trims gain all wheel drive and more power. And then there's the GT-Line that we've been driving. If you want to charge your EV9, and I bet you will, you can go from 10 to 80% charge in about 25 minutes with a 350 kilowatt charger. And if for some reason you want to tow, it maxes out at 5,000 pounds, but only in the upper trims.
Sweetie, will you share our trim recommendation?
I sure will. Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting in your EV9, but at the lowest possible price. We're going to recommend the light, long-range rear-wheel drive trim. It includes power heated and ventilated front seats, cabin talk to amplify your demands to rear seat passengers, 3-zone climate control, smart key access, plus phone as key abilities, and highway driving assistant 2, which manages steering and speed for the driver but requires they keep their hands on the steering wheel. The light, long-range trim is the slowest EV9, but it also offers the best range of the lineup. If you're ready to buy an EV9 of your very own, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to see what your current car is worth or what you should spend on an EV9. Now, in the beginning of the video, we teased we were going to tell you whether the EV9 is better than its gasoline-powered sibling, the Kia Telluride. We've got more third-row headroom, more total legroom, more small storage, and the Telluride's favorite can seat up to 8, whereas the EV9 maxes out at 7. In total, though, the EV9 is to us easier to live with than a Telluride, and it's also quicker 0 to 60 in most trims. But there is a caveat. In the trims we recommend, the EV9 is like $21,000 more expensive. I like a frunk as much as the next person, but you know what I like even more than that? 20 grand! As of when we're making this video, the EV9 is not eligible for that $7,500 federal tax credit that some EVs are. However, Kia, they've got a plant in Georgia and they're going to be cranking these things out. And once that happens, there is an expectation that the EV9 will be eligible for that federal tax credit sometime in 2025. At the moment, there aren't many 3-row electric SUVs available, but the Rivian R1S is one. There's also the Volvo EX90, which will be going on sale fairly soon. Another really logical competitor would be the Kia Telluride, gasoline powered, but a lot cheaper. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. And now it is our daughter's time to shine. Child, tell me, what is your favorite feature in the Kia EV9.
This leg rest thingy, it is really nice. It's like bringing a chair in a car.
That leg rest thingy is part of a $2,000 second row relaxation package.
Wow.
We will be taking $2,000 out of your allowance to help pay for that. But you seem so comfortable, I'm sure it's worth it.
I don't have $2,000.
No, not anymore. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Kia EV9. May I have a 5? The Nixie got in my way. May I have a 5? And you! Come get your high five. Bam!